We're live.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is Smash Talk presented by E2C. Welcome to our second episode. Joining me tonight, we have Hoenn, who recently placed very, very well at E2C 12. We have Akiro, who obviously took second at E2C 12. I know all of you tuned in to watch us. We have Genken, who was doing commentary all night with us, and Lord Sturm, who also was doing commentary at E2C 12. So, real quick, I would like to express thanks to everyone tuning in right now, and anyone who we do apologize for running a little late. Normally we're starting at 9 p.m. Central Time. The tournament ran here at Stadium a little bit past time what we wanted.
I blame Amiibos.
What's that?
I blame Amiibos.
I blame Amiibos. Amiibos did. We ran an
quickest.
Amiibo tournament for the first time here, where you just enter your Amiibo and. It took up a system and it kind of. By all means, I loved it. I thought it was a fun time, but at the same time, the lack of a setup kind of hurt. But so first off, let's talk about E2C 12. I think that's
Also,
where we
this
need
is
to start.
Sage.
Yes, I am
Sage, the
I am
person
Sage.
who goes unintroduced, but needs no introduction.
I think by now people tuning in kind of have figured out who I am. So real quick, if you guys do want to follow us, myself and Lord Sturm are both on Twitter. You can follow him at Game Music Theory. You can follow myself at Smash Talk Sage. So, anyways, E2C 12.
Great tournament. Huge turnout. I mean, really, seriously, great venue. Southwest side of Chicago, I think it was pretty easily accessible by a lot of people. I mean, let's talk about it. We had people coming in from Ohio, Iowa.
Michigan even. We had Michigan players come out.
Who came from Michigan?
There were a couple, they weren't really big names, but there were two guys that I talked to who said they were from Michigan.
Yeah.
So,
E2C 11 had big Michigan names as well. Surprised more of them didn't show, but we had a great interstatal turnout.
Interstatal.
Interstatal.
Fantastic word
The
choice.
sequel
by
to
Lord
Interstellar.
Sturm here.
Alright, so obviously that was such a great turnout. For recap of numbers, we had 129 entrants for Smash 4 1v1s only. We had 42 entrants for doubles. That number is insane. I mean, for a monthly tournament, that's outrageous. We also had 10 teams for Smash 4 3v3 VIP. And I don't remember the PM and Melee
I think
numbers off my head.
next time we'll have even more.
I think so too. I think I know the Ohio folks that I talked to, they loved Smash the 3v3s. They thought it was a blast. If you guys haven't tried the game mode, I highly suggest it, man. It's a blast. Real quick, for those of you guys who don't know it, it's just you have it's 3 stock, 8 minute, and you play on either Big Battlefield, Norfair, or Pyrosphere, and you have to have one player on your team labeled as a VIP. There's no stock sharing, and when your VIP is eliminated, your team loses.
I want to talk a little bit. I've been giving this some thought, and my first exposure to 3v3 VIPs was yesterday at E2C 12, and I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did enjoy watching it, and I like the team dynamic that you have there. You've taken, what is essentially, the standard game modes of 1v1s, and you've got the 2v2s, and now you add this third VIP element. It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, and I believe you guys talked about this last week with some of the custom matches, but there's a lot of things you can do with Smash 4 that I think goes unexploited, and it was good to see a solid turnout for the 3v3 VIPs, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see more game modes like that. A little bit more creativity in the competitive space.
We know that, of course, that Akiro entered 3v3 VIP. Hoenn, did you enter?
No, I didn't. I didn't get there in time.
Yeah, that was the same with me, but I wasn't planning on it.
He was tardy.
Akiro, do you want to talk about the experience playing?
I feel like there was another 3v3 team. There was an all-day, all-Psy, and MJG, and I feel like they really took advantage of 3v3, setting, having Ness as a VIP, and like giving the VIP health back, like regenerated her health back. Whereas me, Bo, and Green, we were hoping just to base our skill levels to get us past through the whole 3v3. But honestly, that didn't work out very well.
I mean, and for real quick reference, like you, Bo, and Green, I think outplaced all except for MJG, right? Was he on the team? you guys outplaced everyone but MJG that was on that 3v3 VIP team, but you still lost to them. So I think that shows an interesting dynamic that 3v3 kind of opens up, in that you may not be the best 1v1 player, but there's a lot you can do as a 3v3 player.
Well, MJG was the best.
MJG did win number 1.
2v2.
And 2v2, 3v2. He did have a perfect record. Shout outs to MJG if you're ever watching this. But so yeah, I think it's really cool, and yeah, having Villager pocket that PK Thunder to heal Ness is such an interesting strategy. I mean, there's probably even more crazy stuff that we haven't even thought of. Filling like a Game & Watch bucket and sending him out. Like if you had yeah,
just filling the Game & Watch bucket, you know, there's so many things you can explore with 3v3 VIP mode.
Because it's really hard in a 2v2 to kind of force that bucket fill, but in a 3v3 you have one person playing aggressively attacking, and then if your VIP can fill a Game & Watch's bucket and then send the Game & Watch after their VIP, like, that could be so much fun to watch. It could be so janky, but...
Okay, let's get a little crazy with the theory craft. It's going to be Game & Watch, Villager, Lucina. You fill Game & Watch's bucket.
What are you filling with the bucket though? There, none of those characters have.
Slingshot doesn't fill the bucket.
No, it's not energy. Neither is Load Rocket. Okay. You'd have to do someone like.
And that puts a stake in Lord Sturm's entire next 3 minutes of soapboxing.
It could be like someone like Fox.
He drinks the beer in defeat.
How about Fox? Well, the theory was you're gonna. Okay, well,
explain.
Is there anyone with a projectile who has a counter? I guess you could do like
Rosalina.
Lucario.
Or not Rosalina, not Palutena.
Palutena has Lucario is the perfect one, although his counter's not great.
I'm pretty sure
Palutena?
That his
Palutena 2.
I'm pretty sure that his Aura Sphere can fill up more than one slots in a bucket.
If it's charged, yeah.
Okay, Aura Sphere fills the bucket. Villager pockets the bucket. Lucario counters the bucket out of the pocket. And you kill people with 0.
Can you pocket Oil Panic?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to test out. I want to say it might be a physical move.
I
think it might be a physical move.
Yeah.
Most of his moves aren't really projectiles. They're just.
I think it's just an extension.
I don't know if you could pocket that. But another good one could be Palutena. I mean, she's so hard to edgeguard due to warp, and with Reflect Barrier, that opens up an interesting defensive option as well. So she could make a really good VIP, and Auto Reticle will target your allies if they're close. And that instant fills bucket because it shoots 3 shots.
Right.
So that could be a really interesting kind of team.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, I would love to see the 3v3 meta explored a little bit more.
There's so much room for growth in that meta too.
Oh, absolutely. I know Ohio said they were going to look to start running it.
I would like to see us experiment some more with team comps too at our weekly.
Yeah, I think maybe if we kind of take advantage of it, or even like if we start doing streams of 3v3 VIP mode, everyone like just for friendly, we can kind of move away from playing the characters that we play for money. Because right now we are pretty much playing the characters we play for money, which I mean it's not a bad thing, but we haven't really explored the combinations that are available, and I think Ohio did more than we did, and that's kind of why they took the 3v3.
Well, at the same time, they did go with their mains.
They did. They just kind of happened to have a good kind of grouping. Although I don't think was Villager the main of that player.
MJG is a Villager player.
Wait, I didn't think it was MJG though that played it. Was MJG on their team?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was MJG the Villager. Okay, yeah. Never mind. All right, so let's jump back to E2C 12 real quick. I mean, we obviously loved the 3v3 talk, but let's talk about favorite moments of E2C 12.
You know, this one stood out for me maybe because it was earlier in the afternoon and I was not quite as tired as, you know, we know the day was about 13, 14 hours for those of us who were there from start to finish. I really loved the JT Wild Mario and
versus Sturm Sonic
match. That was intense for me to watch. It was intense to watch the players. JT, who normally plays a very fantastic Mario, just he couldn't match the Sonic, and but it was highly entertaining to watch, and it was one of the first. I think it was a round 1 match in that tournament, and I think it was a great bookend to at least those of us who were sitting in the streaming booth to what have been a night of a lot of exciting games. And I think that one stuck out.
Absolutely. I came in at the perfect time. Like, I'm glad I didn't miss it. But I didn't get to see all of it, but I saw Storm time out. JT
1% timeout.
Oh, that was the most exciting
game
8-minute full game.
Holy cow.
Usually when there's timeouts, there's someone's camping. Someone's like, I'm like after 2 minutes, they're like, I'm gonna sit back. I'm playing for the timeout. No one played for the timeout there. They wanted that kill.
Only with about 10 seconds left.
Did it really dawn on
Did
them?
you really see we're running out of time? And I think Sonic was the one trying to kind of stall a little bit, and it
It's such.
so close.
I was there.
Hey.
And I've never seen a crowd explode like that.
There was a bigger
For a
crowd.
timeout of all things.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it. If JT Wild and Sonic were off stage, and it was like 2 seconds left, and I think JT Wild tried to cover up B toward the stage. If he would have up B'd towards Sonic and just clipped him, he would have won that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure JT
I was
Wild.
talking to Dicey.
But-
Dicey's playing
I'm
PM
not
right now.
entirely sure. I'm sure you guys can check the VOD out to watch the replay, but
Dicey thinks
He
that
kinda choked
JT was
towards
in
the
the
end.
perfect position to just drop a fireball in those last seconds.
he was trying to go for a hit instead of a fireball. He could have played that a lot better than he did.
There was a lot of tension in that. I mean, because any wrong play, they were each at 100. They were north of 100%. So you're talking about trying to make sure that you get that percentage win. But either one of those characters with a slip up could have been spiked off the stage or otherwise knocked out.
Yeah,
so
and I mean, it's
there was
just,
a lot of nerves in that match. You could feel the pressure.
Yeah, those are one of the one of the more hyper matches in the whole tournament.
Absolutely. I think that might be one of my favorite matches.
And anyone can crumble under like pressure like that. If you see like I don't know if anybody saw the like back in the Brawl days like Zero versus ADHD.
I think everyone by now has seen that match.
Zero versus ADHD and Brawl.
And
Yeah.
Zero's one of the best players in the world, and he still can panic under pressure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about pressure in these monthly matches because I'm personally don't play at a very high level, but I get a chance to sit down and I get to watch some pretty good players here at these weeklies in Chicago, and I see a lot of similar players who, when they went to this monthly tournament, playing people that they play in the weeklies, maybe they're playing someone new, and just so many mistakes made once you start feeling that pressure. You know you're in that 1v1 bracket. You know there's a lot of money on the line. You know it's only round 3 and you've got a lot to go. And so you start seeing people make mistakes. You start seeing people respond. And I've never, being new to the competitive gaming world, I've never really seen that. And some of you sit here and think it's a video game, but you start to feel it yourself. I felt it myself when I was playing it, and I'm sure every single one of you at this table who are playing it
Of
could.
course.
And it breaks out of skill and it becomes a mental game. And I think that's really an exciting part of the monthly tournament.
That's what made that game as hype as it was. It
Yeah.
wasn't the characters playing the characters, it was the players playing each other.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
The players playing each other. But you could see the emotional reaction from JT when he lost that match. He was straight up.
I think that was game
pissed
2,
off.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
they went to game
he
3
was
on
feeling-
Halberd,
yeah.
and Storm finished him with a spring chase to
Oh, that was
up air.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. All right, so that was your favorite moment, right, Hoenn? For
No,
me,
that
too?
was
That was
Or
mine.
no, oh, no,
That was
I'm sorry,
mine.
that was
Yes,
Genken.
yes,
You
yes, so.
commented shortly after. So, Sturm, what do you got?
I got. That's
He's
a good
got
one.
lots
That is such a good one.
That's a good one, but I gotta go with Green Beast JJ Rockets.
That was
Yes.
amazing.
Gotta go with that.
The
Game
upset
1.
of the whole tournament. Green Beast finally taking out JG Rockets in the tournament.
Yes.
That was an amazing.
That was
game.
Green Beast's first set he's ever taken off of JJ
in tournament.
in tournament. Yeah, I know. Apparently, Green Beast kind of felt he
He
should
has a
be
winning
beating him.
record in friendlies, but obviously those are two different things.
Yeah, there's very different when that pressure kind of starts to come down on you. But that was such an intense kind of match.
That
I
game
think that
one.
was the second time they met in third time in tournament.
Okay.
They met the first time at Great Revival, and that's how he got the name changed to Free Beast. The second time was at EXP, where Green had it, but the pressure, cockiness, whatever you want to call it, got to him, and then lost the set. And finally, he took the set off JJ for the first time at E2C last night.
Yeah.
That game 1 blew my mind.
When JJ went off stage and he didn't really have to, and
Purple down air.
yeah, he ended up getting gimped.
I was commenting that with Mixwell, and I thought those games were super intense.
Yeah.
He disagreed. He is like, I'm bored. He literally said that on stream, and I was like, this is the most mentally straining version of Smash Bros. I've ever seen. This chess game of positioning on the stage, They played so smart. Every game went very long, and they played at the top level for as long as they could.
Absolutely.
Green eked it out.
Yeah, that was such an intense match. If you guys have the chance, by all means, I suggest going back. Can you move the mouse real quick?
Where are we at?
This screen just started to dip a little. But Hoenn, how about you? Favorite moment?
I didn't really have a specific favorite moment, just random upsets in general, like Green Beast JJ.
Knight's team in doubles.
I was gonna bring up Knight's team as like a little honorable mention. Knight and Dan got super far, and no one expected it.
Dan knocked me out in losers, and I should have been knocked out by Dan, but
Shots fired at Dan.
This is interesting. So we're talking. I mean, obviously, I would think that the Smash 4 competitive community, just from sitting through the last couple months, has been very healthy. And I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to participate in the Melee or Project M kind of worlds before Smash 4 came out. But what is, the collective opinion here on the health of this game and its future moving forward in competitive play?
I'll go ahead and throw my 2 cents into that. I think in competitive play, the Smash 4 has a pretty wide future. I think it's pretty open, and it's shown nothing but growth lately. I mean, here in Chicago, to get something like 129 entrants for Smash 4 singles and 42 teams for doubles for a monthly just shows that the scene is huge right now, especially in the Midwest.
Right.
I think that's something that not a lot of people who kind of like on the MVVA regions and the SoCal regions and stuff like that, they're not really looking at Midwest right now, and I think they should be. I think Midwest is being slept on a little bit. I mean, you got players like Mr. Eric coming out with Rob. You got Akiro here with Sheik.
We get this guy a plane ticket, let him show a thing or two.
Yeah.
Or he can use his winnings from yesterday to buy his own plane ticket.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty healthy scene overall, and I think it's going to go nothing. It's got nowhere to go but up.
My opinion is Evo is going to be the litmus test. I mean, we'll talk about this when we talk about customs, of course.
Yeah, that's going to be a big topic.
But I hope Evo shows Smash 4 in its best light.
I agree.
That's where the most eyes will be on our scene, and I hope that we show that this game is as high level and as competitive as Melee is.
I think the Melee scene and the Smash 4 scene can absolutely coexist too. I just think they're different games for different people. Like for me, I came from a PM background. That was the first Smash game I started to try to compete in. I did it on and off. I had a lot of other things going on, so I couldn't really attend a lot of tournaments. But coming from that into Smash 4, like obviously there's a lot less like advanced style tech. Like there's not wave dashing. It's not as button input heavy, but it's still by all means really technical in just your spacing and things like that. Especially considering shields are so much less powerful than they used, or so much more powerful than they used to be. You really have to be so perfect on your spacing, and that's something that I think players are starting to adapt to now and starting to show in a light.
You mentioned an interesting thing. You said that Melee is not as Melee is more button input heavy than say a game like Smash 4, and I hear a lot of criticisms from the Melee hardcore players, and again, new to the competitive tournament. Of course, I played, Melee since it came out as a kid. Played amongst my friends, and I sit here and I wonder, does that necessarily make a better fighting game? Because we have a tremendous amount of gameplay options in Smash 4, and you can definitely feel a difference between vanilla Brawl, right, Melee, and Smash 4.
Oh, they're all absolutely very different games.
And I think Melee, or I think rather Smash 4 does a good job of hybridizing, some of the things that Brawl brought to the table that are good, and eliminating and bringing in some of the things about Melee that made it good without it being so, because we want accessibility for a competitive, healthy competitive world. You need to not just get the absolute top tier of people in the world, but you have to be able to entertain folks that want to play the game at a lower level or that want to be a little bit casual about it, but they feel that they can get into these kinds of tournaments, they can meet new people, and they can have fun. And there's no technical downsides to Smash 4 that I've observed. You mean, obviously, Akira, you play it at a fairly high level, so I'd love to hear your input and your thoughts on. Did you have a chance to play Melee or any of the earlier Smash games, or?
Competitively, no.
Okay.
I started getting into competitive Smash during the Brawl days back in 2009, like a year after the release of Brawl.
Okay.
I wasn't really too much into Melee. I mean, I think I was still very young at that time. I didn't even know a scene even existed for Smash at that time. It wasn't until I started playing Brawl and the whole online aspect of it like really broadened my my awareness of the Smash community and everything. So I think that's what really started it for me.
Yeah. Well,
And then now we go back from there until now.
and maybe my bias talking, but you mentioned we can have two coexisting communities, Melee and Smash 4, and certainly I have no qualms with that. But I think you've got a great functional fighting game released here in 2014. And we really should be looking towards the future of that game and the possibilities of that, and less so concerned about a game that was released in 2002. And there's a lot of discoveries that have been made about Melee over the years. It hasn't been updated, it hasn't been patched. The disc that's released is the disc that's released.
Yeah, I mean I don't think that's a bad thing either. I think that's part of why Melee has.
That's what exactly. It's given it a lot of legs.
It's such a that's what kind of has brought it to a thriving meta. And we're not trying to say one is better than the other. We're not trying to kind of.
Oh yes, we are. We're here to define right now. Sundays in Stadium Sports, the best Smash game ever made.
Well, there goes all one of our viewers.
So, I mean, I think they're both very good games. I like both games. I like spectating both games. I think I think by all means they can coexist. I like that there's differences about it. I like that there's people that can be like, I want to play a really fast combo-oriented game, and they can go to Melee, or I want to play a really spacing and kind of mind game style of Smash, and they can go to Smash 4. And I think that both those existing is by all means a good thing. But I want to get any other closing comments you guys might have about, or actually, I don't think we heard your favorite moment from E2C.
Yeah, loved it. The grand finals where he was playing.
No, because he was asleep.
He was. He truly was.
My favorite moment was me versus JJ Rockets. Me finally winning a set against JJ in the winner's side.
You didn't have to go to losers to beat JJ this time.
I didn't have to go to losers to beat JJ.
You didn't have to reset the bracket again.
Yeah, that was nice. That was definitely a fun match. And I think one of my favorite moments from that tournament was actually Green Beast versus Akiro. That was, I
actually didn't catch that one.
Oh, it was so intense. There was so many. They were on last stock, last hit essentially.
Every game.
Actually, on game 5.
Oh, that went game 5.
That went game 5. Green Beast almost took it, and
Green Beast quit game 4.
He
really?
He lost his stock and was down, and I think Akiro had 34% or something like that. And Green Beast lost his stock, took 2 fairs, and he's paused, and he's that game's yours, and he just continued on.
Oh, really?
But it kind of helped. It might have helped him mentally, considering he brought it back all the way to last hit on game 5. I mean, there was so intense. You guys, there was so much edge play going on between you two. I mean, you kept throwing him off. He kept recovering, and then he was almost sending you off, and I don't know. Both players were just so high in percentage that it was one of those matches where you're just holding your breath, who's gonna get the hit? Who's gonna get the hit?
I mean,
basically that whole match was just on ledge.
Yeah, honestly, the whole last stock was just ledge play.
It was me and stage control, and for Green Beast, finding his way in through my cracks and stuff.
It's amazing no one mentioned you versus MJG, the winners finals. Those were great games.
Those were great games.
That was everything I wanted that set to be and more.
Yeah, definitely. An honorable mention for sure to that. Any other quick moments or any other things you guys have to say about E2C 12?
Moments I didn't like? My performance.
I'm with you there. I was
biased.
There was a lot of exhaustion and stuff like that.
Team Knight versus Team Sage.
Team Knight came through in spades.
They did. Team Knight had a very good performance, and
Team Hoenn had a very good performance.
Team Hoenn did have a very good performance.
Hoenn did very well.
Team Stadium.
Team Stadium.
Team Stadium.
Rock
Stadium.
Galloping Guts.
Galloping. That's all. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about the Sunday weekly rivalry.
We've got a Sunday rivalry here.
Yeah.
Correct. We are sitting here.
First of all, JT Wild was supposed to be here. Flame and you. Flame. JT
Is he in there
to
right
call
now?
out.
Hey Day, how you? Day and Crucial regulars. Well, Day's a Days a friend from Ohio.
Shout out to
We were
Crucial.
talking about Ohio earlier, but Crucial, we haven't seen you in a while.
No, he helped. He's helped a lot with E2C. He's helped with. I know he helped with put out a lot of the flyers, not flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah, E2C flowers.
We like flowers out here at E2C.
But yeah, he's helped a lot, and Day, she and I had some good conversations about some of the stuff that she's doing out in Ohio.
There's JJ. JJ's back.
Oh,
JJ, we were talking about how our favorite moments were you getting fucked up.
were you getting bodied by Akiro? Not bodied. No, we're saying that that was a very hype match, and I think that Akiro said it was his favorite moment of the tournament, managing to kind of take JJ out in winners.
In winners.
Not in losers this time.
Winners.
All right, so like closing comments about E2C 12. How did you guys think it ran very well? You guys, anything that you guys just kind of want to bring up real quick?
Let's talk about how
There were some complaints about the final bracket seeding.
right.
Yes,
we
there
can
were
touch
a
on
couple.
that.
The
Yeah,
seating.
absolutely.
I think that had a lot, like, JJ actually, I think, brought this up before the tournament. The final bracket seeding was a little weird because a lot of people ended up with kind of easier matches because there were some play-in games for this final bracket due to that 3 people advanced from pools instead of 4 or 2.
And there were a lot of pools where, you know, there was this, like, JT Wild's pool. Like, JT Wild said that there were really no notable players in his pool. Whereas in my pool, I had Dan, Tetsuyan, Rumble Pack,
Who's Dan?
myself.
Dan,
From
Knight's team.
Night and Day.
Dan, yeah.
Night and Dan, not Night and Day. Night did.
I called him Night and Day. I think
Night
it just
did
caught on.
first day. That was pretty
Night
hype.
and day.
Yeah, it was literally night versus day. But yeah, I think a
They
lot
just
of that.
didn't spread the players out in the pools.
Yeah,
That's something that will just get better and better over time.
yeah, a lot of that came from. There were a lot of new faces at this tournament that we in Chicago hadn't seen before. I know I was talking to Joe a lot while he was doing seeds, and we were trying to get everyone seeded as well as possible. But like I said, like not everyone sends in the results. Not every player is known, like kind of to the point that we can accurately seed. So I mean, there's gonna be mistakes like that inevitably, but. And the other thing that I know a couple of people had complaints about were the fact that people didn't get to play the winners set to like decide who went in as 1 seed and 2 seed.
Yes.
And that I do agree that it's better to be able to do that, but at the same time, that is a lot of matches you still have to play. That's 15 more matches to go through.
Like, why don't we do
that's-
2-stock pool matches?
I think that may be what we kind of
that'll
look into
go
in
a
the
lot
future.
faster.
I think we may look into the
You know,
two-stock
because you
pools.
got the unexperienced players, you know, and they don't play high level Smash 4, and you know it's kind of it takes a while for them to finish, and then have 3-stock 8-minute matches. You know.
Some of those matches with newer players, especially, are going to go to 6 or 7 minutes.
So having 2-stock pool matches, you know, I think that would help make it go a lot faster.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that we're going to look into here at E2C. We're going to kind of look at how to improve that, and we appreciate the feedback coming from all the players. I mean, I think that as the biggest downside isn't that bad. We managed to finish very early. We finished the whole tournament around 11 o'clock,
yeah, that was really
which that was absolutely wonderful.
And I would like to see like 16 pools where we have brackets where there are no play-in games, because one thing that I saw, and this happened, I won 2 games and I tied with Tugo, who I bodied in a money match. First of all, that was awesome. Talk about favorite moments of E2C 12: bodying Tugo. Thumbs up. Secondly, he won 1 game and I won 2, and we actually tied in placings. And then my good friend Kaizoku Marlin, he won a game and lost 2, and actually got last place in the final bracket. That's obviously something that's just really picky and really, because obviously none of those places are paying out. It's not a huge tournament where top 16 pays out or top 32 pays out. But that's something I'd like to see added in the future. Just no plans where we don't get any seeding inconsistencies and
Yeah, I think
like
that stuff we'll start to work on. I mean, it's I don't think we expected like a tournament of such high caliber from a monthly.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that there were going to be a lot of entrants. Obviously, E2C 11 had a lot, but it's difficult when you have people coming from out of state that you don't really know how they play. You don't really know how they stack up to people that I had never seen Mr. Eric in tournament. I've seen videos of him, obviously. I know of the Ohio scene, but like it's hard to kind of guess when you haven't played against these people. But now, if these E2C events really become as big as they've kind of become and continue to do so, then it's going to be a lot easier to seed. Like as we see more and more people coming out from different scenes and things like that.
Definitely.
So that's big. That's big for us. I think those as complaints are definitely valid. I mean, I have similar complaints.
Doubling the size of the venue was awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about the size of the venue real quick. Just the venue doubled in size since last time. It was not crowded. We had so many setups.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was like the perfect size. We managed to have 15 pools going at once while other games were playing. Like,
Right.
how beautiful is that?
And then the PA system you guys had, that made it even better.
PA system was
Yeah.
super helpful.
Not super.
The venue, by the way, was Top Cut Comics.
Yes.
Like 6,300 or so South Archers. So, yeah, nice people, easy to work with.
Yeah.
I think that the space was good, was functional.
Definitely, that's big in the tournament. Big for tournaments is just space and stuff like that.
And it wasn't super hot either.
No, we managed to kind of keep it.
If anything, it was a little chilly. But that's just like,
It was just a little cold. All right, so I think it just about wraps up some E2C 12 thoughts. So another topic that we kind of wanted to bring up for this podcast. So obviously we have our tournament wrap ups. We have kind of player like commentary and stuff like that. But every week we want to do some sort of different topic, like a meta style topic or a topic about character matchups. That's kind of what we did last week. We're obviously going to go back to that. That's a topic that we could run 1,000 episodes on and never cover everything.
Run an episode on a character.
Yeah,
You heard it here. The full intent of having 1,000.
I would love it.
Match
Stream, you heard me. 1,000 episodes. Let's make it happen.
And if you've got any questions, I mean, for those of you viewers who are out there listening to us right now, if you've got questions, feel free to chime in on chat, and we'll try to address your topics and thoughts as well.
We do have an eye on chat.
Yes, we always have an eye on chat. We are always watching. So anything that you guys want us to kind of discuss, we're very open to. I think usually we're going to try to dedicate at least 5 minutes at the end, especially to talking about that. But throughout the podcast, by all means, any comments, questions, concerns you guys have, throw them out there. We're really very willing to kind of talk about what players think and anything that they want to know about. But the thing that we kind of had in mind for today, we were going to talk about stage picking and just what stages we think benefit what characters and what goes through your mind when you're kind of counter picking a stage. Because that's a situation that I think a lot of players deal with without the knowledge of why they're doing it. Like, a lot of players kind of just default to Smashville, they default to FD, and you take that away from someone, and all of a sudden they have to pick a stage from an 8-9 stage list on a counter pick, and
Our list that should be smaller, but go on.
they're a little lost. And that's a conversation that we can also get into. We can talk about stages that we think could be legal.
I played some stages today.
You and I think share very different opinions, in that I think a stage list, like a broader stage list, kind of helps.
I agree.
I mean, Genken can chime in just a moment, but I think it helps promote like certain characters on certain stages. I know I've read interesting arguments of stuff like in Brawl when Delfino got banned. That was Game & Watch's most valid stage, and all of a sudden that being gone,
stage?
Delfino Plaza was Game & Watch's best stage in Brawl, and as soon as that was banned, that was a big issue for a lot of Game & Watch players.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about real quick. Some favorite stages and why you think why you like to kind of take your opponent there. So Hoenn, you want to start?
That really depends. That's really character specific. I don't really have a specific stage that I like taking people to. Maybe Halberd, because Diddy Kong, down throw up air killing extremely early.
Yeah, it's a big one. Halberd killing for Diddy Kong. Halberd is, I know a lot of people call Town and City Town and Diddy, and that's such a good stage for Diddy Kong as a starter. But as a counter pick, if you're a Diddy Kong player, Halberd is probably your best bet.
And then
next.
people ban that, so then you go to Town and Diddy. So that's why you always see Diddy Kongs on that stage. So
Yeah. Akiro, is there a stage that you have that you kind of just feel benefits Sheik a lot?
Smashville definitely. The platform helps me reset a lot of setups I have, and my strings can go on towards the end of the blast zone, really, if I properly execute it. But I love playing Smashville as Sheik.
Nice.
But there is another stage that the player that came with the Ohio crew, his name is Absol.
Shout outs to Absol from Ohio. We love you, Ohio people. We became good friends.
My homie Absol.
Absol's really good.
And he showed me some really interesting tech on Lilac Cruise, where she can actually slide around the stage. I had no idea.
So you hear
he knows a lot more Sheik than I do, but I guess I too owed him in bracket.
You just have the fundamentals.
More than likely, yeah. But he has a lot of really interesting, like, chic, tech bits here and there that I had no idea. Like canceling your needles to special. Like I had heard about that, but I never really saw it executed.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me a lot of stuff. I very look forward to talking to him a lot more.
Awesome. So that's interesting. And I think that's something when you talk about stages, like how Akiro said that the Smashville platform really helps him reset his combos. Stage layout is such an important factor for so many characters. I mean, as a Rosalina player, I obviously want characters to be above me. My up air and up tilt are so strong. So other characters that also benefit from stuff like that is like Marth obviously loves platforms. He loves to kind of play with people on platforms, kind of chase their techs and things like that. Diddy Kong platforms are really good for him because he can chase with up airs. So if your character is really strong being under a platform while your opponent is above them, then stuff like Battlefield, stuff like let's see, like Smashville is pretty solid for that.
Not as solid as Battlefield.
Not as solid. Battlefield's the big one. Halberd can be pretty good for that, and even Delfino. Delfino's another good one.
Like I've been trying to pick Town and City as a Yoshi counter pick lately, and I've had mixed results with it. It's not like usually my go-to counter pick is Battlefield. Yoshi's feet just go through those platforms so easily, and you can read a roll on the top platform and you can just eat someone for a stop. Town City is a little trickier for Yoshi to set up these KOs.
I'd love to chime in a little bit. We're kind of talking about each character's favorite stages. You kind of opened this conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. Any sort of kind of input on stages is very welcome.
And I only want to comment on this, and I might get blasted by everybody who plays competitive Smash. But again, I'm talking about trying to get a fresh look at the game, different ways that you can explore all the content that exists in here, but enjoy it in a competitive fashion. And that's, we limit ourselves to a select number of stages. And I think there's a good amount of variety in those stages. Some platforms, there's a couple of moving stages. You have Delfino, of course, and so the tournament picks aren't necessarily bad, but I would love to see more stages allowed in matches. And the reason is because I think the logic behind tournament play is to get the most even playing field to let the characters' abilities shine. Mm-hmm. And we tend to equate that with their ability to string together these combos or to do really good movement prediction and to do some nice fancy techs. But there's something to be said about people that play the game casually. I'm looking over here behind us on some friendly matches, and they're doing the Wii Sports Resort stage right
Woohoo
now.
Island.
And right,
I would never play that stage.
I'm actually of the opinion that Woohoo Island should be legal.
I like it. And then before it was Palutena's Temple, which is
that should not be
the big
legal.
one, right? Which is a big stage. And my thinking is that there's a couple of stages that just, for time reasons and for interest of watching it, might be a little too obnoxious to play. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of stages that don't highlight people's teching abilities so much as it highlights their ability to adapt to different environments, to different platforms. And when you open up more stages, you open up more characters. Okay? So right now, if you have 9 stages, you have a limited list of characters that are really good at those 9 stages that are acceptable to play. And then we have a huge slew, well, maybe not huge, we've got a fair amount of players that just aren't considered competitive. And the reason why they're not considered competitive is because you don't open up all the stages. You don't open up all the scenarios.
Actually, I don't know how much I agree with that statement in just kind of a broad sense. Like, the idea behind a lot of stage bans is basically to eliminate either campy play, because a lot of, in current Smash setup is, if you take a stock, you're going to win. And in certain stages, it's very easy for some characters to kind of run away. And,
so you're taking the dynamic between the timed stages versus the stock stages would allow the camping, because in stock, if you played a vanilla game mode, you would play a 2-minute or whatever, and it would be a point based, and you're saying
not even that. Even in if you played a time game or anything, it's still valid in that you could get a kill and just kind of haul away, and it's not even so much for players as it is for spectators. No one wants to watch a Sonic player get a kill and then circle camp for 7 minutes. So that's a big thing. I am of the opinion, though, that stage list could be expanded a little bit. I think Woohoo Island is a valid stage. I know Sturm doesn't agree with me there.
We're going to real talk for a second here.
Yes.
I think the current stage list should be reduced.
Really?
No, we're not talking about Pilot Wings.
Pilot Wings has an issue with the engines. You can camp them really easily. 'Cause
Pilot
you-
Wings is dead to me.
So why do you think the
Doesn't
stage?
Skywalls,
like
Akiro and I,
it tilts at like
over.
45 and drops
Quick
you off.
attack cancel on it.
Akiro and I know how jank and stupid Skyworld is.